This audiobook is part 2 of Ghazala Larry's novel, Dana, A Journey of Love. This part includes chapters 5 to 8. Audiobook Part 2, Dana. Chapter 5. Hello, Dana, how are you? Daniel's voice, a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine, cut through the hazy fog that had enveloped her. It was like waking from a vivid dream, only to find the dream itself standing before her, solid and real. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the backdrop of the wedding festivities. She fumbled for words, a jumble of syllables that only she could hear before managing a barely audible, "I'm fine, how are you, Daniel?" His eyes, the color of warm honey, held a knowing glint. He was prepared for this, she realized, a tiny pang of awareness hitting her. His Aunt Mary must have filled him in on the details of the invitation. "How are you, Uncle John and Aunt Margaret?" he asked, smoothly deflecting the attention away from her and onto her parents, a move she appreciated with a sigh of relief. He seemed as uncomfortable, as shy, as she felt, his carefully controlled demeanor a mask for the emotions she guessed were bubbling beneath the surface. He was protecting them both, not wanting their nascent, unspoken connection to be exposed to the prying eyes of the wedding guests. While her parents engaged him in conversation, Dana found herself stealing glances at him, her gaze lingering on the sharp angles of his jaw, the way his dark hair fell across his forehead. With a quiet grace, she slipped away, finding refuge in Rutha's company on one of the plush sofas scattered across the lawn. The wedding was a symphony of elegance and joy. The soft glow of fairy lights, the delicate scent of lilies, the rhythmic pulse of the pianist, it all swirled around them in a beautiful, intoxicating dance. The real highlight was the ceremony itself. The bride, Rose, radiant in white, walked down the aisle towards her groom, a man whose eyes held nothing but adoration for her. The vows they exchanged, the heartfelt words from family and friends, it was a tapestry of love, woven with threads of humor and sentimentality. Even Daniel's tribute to his cousin had a deep, resonant note, a testament to the bond they shared. After the ceremony, the lavish buffet opened, the air filled with the intoxicating aroma of spices and warm bread. The music shifted to something more upbeat, encouraging laughter and mingling. "Hope you are enjoying yourself, Rutha." Daniel's voice, this time closer, made Dana's heart skip again. She watched as Rutha turned, a warm smile lighting up her face. "Yes, of course, and that was a very heart-touching piece you read for Rose," Rutha replied genuinely. He was clearly delighted with the compliment. He was here. He had found her. Dana felt a flutter of anticipation mixed with a healthy dose of apprehension. His gaze finally met hers, and she felt that slight discomfort in her heart again, like a tiny knot tightening in response to his presence. He skillfully kept the conversation going with Rutha, his voice warm and engaging, while his eyes subtly checked on Dana, ensuring she felt at ease. After a while, he turned his attention to her. "I hope you're liking the city and the people here," he said, his voice soft, almost hesitant. She nodded, a small smile finally gracing her lips. "Yes, it's very nice," she replied, her voice still a little shaky. "Is there anything I could do for you? Please feel comfortable asking me for any help," he said. Rutha, sensing an opportunity for something, piped in. "Actually, Daniel, Dana was trying to get admission in one of the colleges here, but she's a little confused about options." His gaze intensified, focusing on Dana. Her shyness had dissipated, and now she looked more confident. Their conversation flowed effortlessly after that, discussing her passions, her interests, the various colleges and courses. It was like they'd been friends for years. And then, almost as an afterthought, he added, a playful twinkle in his eyes, "If you don't find anything interesting here, then please join our firm and see if you can find anything that suits your passion there." The words hung in the air, a casual offer masking a deeper hope. Dana's jaw dropped slightly. He wanted her to join his company. "What?" she finally managed breathlessly. Her reaction caused a ripple of laughter between the three of them, the tension finally broken. It was a light moment, a shared joke, but beneath the surface, both Dana and Daniel felt the weight of unspoken possibilities. Dana didn't know it, but her parents had been subtly weaving a tapestry of connections for her. Mary had told them about Daniel, about his successful advertising agency, about how they believed that he would be perfect for their daughter. They had hoped to orchestrate a meeting, but fate, it seemed, was already one step ahead. And as for Dana, she was blissfully unaware that she was being subtly swept into her destiny, a destiny that involved a certain charming man with honey-colored eyes. Chapter 6. The sun, a brazen eye in the wide-open western sky, spilled gold onto the meticulously laid breakfast table in the garden. Dana, perched on the edge of sleep, blinked the light from her eyes and watched her parents below. They were a quiet tableau of domesticity, her mother's hand resting lightly on her father's, a perfect picture of a life lived in harmony. She waved, a lazy flutter of her fingers against the window pane, and patted downstairs, the wooden floorboards groaning a familiar greeting. The kitchen was a riot of rich aromas. Freshly ground coffee, the dark elixir of the morning, filled the air with its intoxicating scent. Dana poured herself a mug, the steam curling around her face like a comforting caress. With the mug clutched in both hands, she stepped out into the dazzling morning. The garden, bathed in the relentless sunlight, was a vibrant canvas of green and gold. Birds chirped and flitted amongst the rose bushes, a cheerful chorus to the hum of the day. She pulled out a chair at the table, sliding in beside her mother. "You were saying something," her father prompted, his voice laced with that familiar, good-natured curiosity. Margaret, Dana's mother, hesitated, her fingers tracing the rim of her teacup. "It was just the wedding yesterday. Seeing everyone after so long, it made me think." "Think what, dear?" her father asked, his gaze both kind and probing. Margaret looked at Dana then, a glimmer of concern in her eyes. "How did you find it? What did you chat about with Daniel?" The name struck a chord within Dana, a sharp, almost painful twang. She coughed, a forced laugh escaping her lips as she tried to cover the blush she knew was creeping up her neck. "Oh, Daniel, we talked about colleges. He's got lots of good advice, some different options to look at." Her father, always practical, nodded approvingly. "Good. He's a sharp young man. Be sure to get all the details before making any decisions." Margaret, however, seemed to have other plans. "Maybe Daniel could come with you when you go to enroll," she suggested, her gaze fixed on Dana. "He seems to know his way around." Her father surprisingly agreed. "That's a good idea, Dana. I'll be out of town on business in the old city, tying up some loose ends before I close the business there. Daniel is a sensible young man." He reached for his pocket watch. "I'll ring him now." Dana, initially stung by the thought of her father's absence during such a pivotal moment, quickly realized the wisdom in her parents' suggestion. Daniel, with his level head, would be an invaluable companion, and perhaps a welcome distraction. Why not also bring Rutha along? She could always use the company, and Rutha was practically like a sister anyway. Her father, having made the call, informed her that Daniel would be there Monday morning at around 11. Dana immediately rang Rutha, who readily accepted the invitation, suggesting she come a little earlier to enjoy breakfast with the family. The truth was, Dana had already made up her mind about her future. She pored over college brochures and talked to countless counselors. It was the visual arts that truly ignited her spirit, and within that, architecture. The idea of shaping spaces, of creating beauty and functionality, filled her with a quiet excitement. She had discussed it with her mother, who had encouraged her to listen to her heart, and now she was ready. It wasn't a choice made out of convenience or expectation, but out of a genuine and consuming passion. The thought of the years ahead, of learning and building and creating, sent a rush of excitement through her. Butterflies, not of nervousness but of anticipation, fluttered in her stomach. As the sun began to dip towards the western horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Dana lay in bed, a smile playing on her lips. The coming day, and the day after that, would be filled with the promise of a future she had carved out for herself. With those dreams swirling around her, she drifted off to sleep, ready to meet the dawn with open eyes and an open heart, eager for the next chapter to unfold. Chapter 7. Rutha Dexter was a force of nature wrapped in a velvet glove. At 20, she moved through the world with a disarming blend of charm and steely resolve. Her kindness was genuine, grounded in an innate understanding of human need. Whether it was helping a classmate with a tricky legal concept or organizing a fundraiser for the local shelter, Rutha was always in motion, fueled by a quiet passion to make life better for the people around her. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dexter, beamed with pride. They'd always fostered Rutha's independence and her compassionate spirit. The family's legacy, a chain of hotels across the country, was interwoven with a deep commitment to community. Mr. Andrew Dexter, despite his demanding schedule, made it a point to be present, to listen, to nurture the bonds of family. He'd often joke that the only thing he loved more than the business was his wife Kathy, his daughter Rutha, and the unspoken need for his loved ones. Rutha was on track to become a corporate lawyer, a path she saw as both a practical way to support the family business and fuel her fire to make a difference in the business world. She envisioned a future where she and her law school friends would launch a collective, a consultancy that reflected their shared belief in ethical practices and social responsibility. But beyond her ambition, beyond her studies, lay her profound friendship with Dana. Dana and Rutha were sisters not of blood, but of shared history. Their mothers, lifelong confidants, had woven the girls' lives together through countless gatherings, laughter, and a comforting sense of belonging. Though Rutha's family had moved to the city of Casa years ago, their connection had never truly frayed, held together by a steady stream of calls, emails, and annual holiday reunions. Dana, for all her outward confidence, secretly admired Rutha's easy sociability. While Dana preferred quiet conversations and careful consideration, Rutha thrived in a whirlwind of social activity. This contrast was often a source of gentle teasing from David, Rutha's older brother, a man who saw her social intensity as both endearing and slightly perplexing. Despite their different approaches to life, he was fiercely protective of her. Then there was Daniel, David's friend and a figure who held a complex place in Rutha's heart. He and David were close, and through them, Daniel had become almost like a second brother to Rutha. In the years since his mother's death, 5 years back, he'd found solace in the Dexter home, accepted and nurtured by Rutha's mother. Each night before sleep claimed him, he stood silently before his mother's photograph, his lips moving in silent conversation, sharing the thoughts and grief that his heart could barely contain. That Monday morning, Rutha, with a basket of garden-fresh strawberries in hand, arrived at Dana's house much earlier. She wanted to be there to see Mr. John Rodriguez off on his trip to Nortshire, and then to catch up with Dana's mother, Margaret. The three women settled into the kitchen, laughter mixing with the aroma of brewing coffee. Dana, eager to pack her bag, left them to their conversation. But as she walked away, she realized that she could hear their laughter and the comfortable ease of their chat. The very sound of the two warmed her heart, and she moved to her room with a smile, remembering how lucky she felt to have Rutha as her friend. She knew, looking back at the kitchen, that Rutha wasn't just a friend. She was like a sister, a thread woven deep into the fabric of their lives. And that unwavering connection, that unbreakable bond, was a comfort to all of them. It was a reminder that even as they navigated the complexities of life and grief, they were never truly alone. Chapter 8. The clock on Dana's bedside table clicked to 11:00, and a heartbeat later, the tires of a car screeched to a halt right outside her window. Rutha, perched on the edge of the bed, didn't even flinch. "That'll be Daniel," she said, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "Mr. Punctuality himself." Daniel, as always, was a study in precision. He was a symphony of smooth movements. From the way he maneuvered his car to the way he unfolded from the driver's seat, not a single action was wasted. He opened the car doors for them with a flourish, his brown eyes crinkling at the corners as he offered a polite smile. Rutha, ever the extrovert, slid into the front seat, leaving the back seat for Dana, who was more of an observer. "So, Dana," Daniel began, his voice a low rumble that somehow managed to be both teasing and warm. "Are you absolutely sure that architecture is your calling? You wouldn't be hiding a secret desire to join the advertising world, perhaps out of shyness?" All three of them burst into laughter. It was a familiar joke, a comfortable ribbing within their tight-knit friendship. Of course, Daniel respected Dana's ambition. He admired her meticulous nature and the way she approached every problem with such calm dedication, traits he admired, which was why he supported her decision in choosing the college for higher studies. The drive to campus was short, filled with easy banter and shared excitement. Daniel, the meticulous planner, had already researched everything, from the registration process to the best cafes near campus. He navigated the registration formalities with the efficiency of a seasoned professional and had a cordial conversation with the college admin officer. The officer seemed thoroughly impressed by Dana's academic record, assuring Daniel that her admission was as good as done. They were given a guided tour of the college grounds. Dana was captivated by the sleek digital library and the grand stadium. That she was good at several sports was interesting, and also that she had a special love for soccer was new to Daniel, and clearly piqued his interest. Back at the car, just as they were about to leave, Daniel's phone buzzed. His face tightened as he spoke to the person on the other end. By his clipped responses and the way his jaw clenched, the girls knew something was up. "I'm so sorry," he said, hanging up the phone. "I need to go to the office. An urgent matter." "Don't worry about us, Daniel," Rutha said, always practical. "We can take a taxi." "Absolutely not," he insisted, his gaze firm. "It won't take long. You should grab some coffee while I sort it out." They protested, but Daniel was resolute. Soon, they were pulling into the parking lot of the Dawson Advertising Agency. The building was a towering edifice, a testament to Daniel's success, with more floors than Dana could count. Rutha seemed at home amid the polished chrome and glass of the building, chatting easily with the office personnel. The staff even seemed to know her by name. Daniel quickly summoned his assistant, Brenda, to show Rutha and Dana to the guest lounge. Brenda, with a genuine smile, led them into an elevator. As they ascended to the 15th floor, Dana couldn't help but notice that the building stretched to 20 floors in total. The guest lounge was beautifully furnished and plush. They were soon served coffee, a tray of cookies, and an assortment of tempting cakes. Dana, content with just black coffee, wandered towards the window. The view was breathtaking, a panorama of sleek skyscrapers, a concrete jungle pulsating with life. She studied the city below, a sense of wonder blooming in her chest. Daniel joined them soon, the tension that had earlier gripped him now gone. "All sorted," he announced, a relaxed smile gracing his face. "Now I have a couple of hours to myself." "A trip to the market, then," Rutha suggested, but Dana's gaze drifted around the stylish interiors of the guest lounge. She seemed captivated by the display. "Or perhaps Dana could join the Dawson Advertising Agency too," Rutha teased, winking at Daniel. Dana blushed, both embarrassed and amused by the joke. Before she could reply, Daniel was leading her towards the office area. "Come on, I'll give you a tour," he offered, ignoring Rutha, who was happily sipping her coffee and reading a newspaper. He proudly showed Dana the various departments, introducing her to his team. Dana was impressed by the creativity and energy of the agency. She could see the dynamic nature that drove Daniel to work so efficiently. Meanwhile, Rutha, growing impatient, was getting concerned about their delayed visit. She called Daniel to ask about their whereabouts. As she lowered the phone, she found Daniel and Dana right behind her, surprise written on their faces. They shared a silent laugh, a playful prank that solidified the bond of their unusual friendship. It was a moment of genuine connection forged in the heart of a bustling city, under the roof of an advertising marvel. Part 2 ends here, and Part 3 will be uploaded soon.